Hi guys, welcome to Dargon Gaming Squad. So thank you for joining us for this. We have some new people here with us. They're all part of our group, but you don't see them as much.
New.
You've seen me before.
New from the last video.
We have some members of our squad with us.
So our squad, yes. Yeah. But I meant new isn't part of the video. Whatever. So I'm Nate. We have Chris, and then the other two.
Who are?
Who
I'm
are?
just the other. I play Hema. I'm Emily. Hi.
Taken.
In case it wasn't clear, I'm Merij. Action.
I can read the question, but I can't.
Was that the intro?
Oh.
No,
if you want
I think we should leave as intro. Yeah.
If you want to put it in the bloopers.
Merij, not Hema.
What does this look like? Oh, it's a caterpillar.
That's Emily.
Yeah.
And
that's Mary.
The guy is Nate.
Miriam.
The other lady is Chris.
The freak with the snowman in the back when it's dead center.
Hardly a freak. The ominous looking one is our GM Nate.
Yes, I can make it more ominous. Bam.
Oh God.
Even more ominous.
That's what the DM says.
I think we change colors every question, make things interesting.
So you've heard of the color changing horse from Oz? Well, we got the color changing DM.
Yes.
That's right.
Eat your heart out. So
Eat your heart out.
Day 10.
So, as Mary said, we're doing questions 10 through 12 today. So, how has gaming changed you?
10 through 12.
We'll just jump right in on this. Gaming changed me in the sense of it's made me a better role player. I remember when I first got in onto the online, it was still very much I'm playing my character, which was pretty good, and I'm gonna roll the dice to hit. I hit, cool. I deal 10 damage. That was it. I do a check. Sure. I got a 5, so I guess nothing. Or hey, look, nat 20. I have automatic success, and like that was kind of it. And the DMs did a lot of the storytelling. Get online, get into a Cody Martin game, and I remember the first fight, and I roll to hit, and I'm like, does an 18 hit? Yes. Roll your damage. 6. Excellent. So tell us what your attack looks like. And I was just like,
it looks like an 8.
my head's computing. It's like, well, I hit, and it like, why do I have to tell this? Like, you guys have imaginations. Kind of like,
you do it.
My character lifts her halberd and brings it down the enemy. Okay. And now next player. And like, and I think it was Dan Schmel who went next. And he's like, I just loved how he described the spell as he's like, his character's like intertwining their fingers together, and you see this blue light just start to swell as suddenly it just shoots out this little like frost bolt or whatever it was, whatever spell it was, and it's just like he painted this beautiful imagery. Like I remember just sitting there going, oh,
this is how it works.
Wow. I'm a better storyteller because of how Cody and a lot of other DMs like get their players involved in describing what's going on. Really get your head into the story, which I think is also another way to. No, not going back to previous questions. Anyways, yeah.
I would say the same. Like,
yeah, nothing too different.
Oh, so hold on. Re-say the question, so I'm answering it.
How has RPG games changed you?
How has gaming changed you?
It's changed me because, like I mentioned, my first time, I was like, it was weird. That's the way the group fit. I'm not going to judge it. Where they would play the game first, the way Marion would say, she would think you just roll, and whatever you roll, you hit or you don't hit. That's how it was. And then to me, it was weird because right after, they would really get into their characters and do like a group talk as of their characters. And the GM was an actual wizard in the game, so he would sit there and talk to them.
No, here, let me explain, because I don't think she's actually putting it directly. So they first sit there with no role playing at all, and they just roll the dice on the mat, right?
Like
and
a board
kill
game.
the bad guys. Yeah, they kill the bad guys. They would do no role playing at all.
Yes.
But then afterwards, they go in the backyard, sit there and drink, and then talk in character. That was one way of doing it, I guess.
Yes. No. And I think it's changed my way of playing once I played with another DM and other DMs, and even, you know, Chris was my DM too. And it changed it for me because I could actually picture where we were exactly at instead of just saying, well, this is you and you're next to this tree. But, you know, it painted the picture for me, and I realized, oh, I wasn't just like, you choose your character, and I wasn't just this, you know, player just smacking some, you know, violent thing, doing a violent act. I was actually like getting into it, smashing things and finding things and talking to people, and, you know, it changed the way I played. And I actually got really into my characters, and you'll realize, like, I take Hina seriously a lot of times, or I do. I'm like, she's crazy. But it's changed the way I played a lot. But it's changed me as a player.
So for me, I would say it's not gonna be something super deep and emotional. I know there's a lot of people that probably have that story, but for me, it's actually something that's kind of more useful. It taught me a lot of good skills on time management, trying to stay, you know, like actually stick to your word and trying to plan things around, because now you have to think of this new thing that's also going to take up, and D&D takes up a good chunk of time, also in preparation, and then just getting everybody set up. It taught me patience, because you need a lot of patience dealing with a lot of people, especially
with us.
MC. Yes. Well, no, not just you guys, but just every group I've ever been with. It's every group has their own quirks, and everybody has their own starting times. And then as a DM, you're probably in most contact with every single player, so you know all their problems in and out of games. So then you have to find a way to kind of manage this. So it taught me time management of people, and just patience, general patience. And then flexibility. So I feel like I'm more of a flexible person, because the crap that my players give me kind of helps me deal with the crap that my patients and my customers give me now that I actually work at a job. Because there's some real interesting things they throw your way. Not nearly as interesting as playing a D&D game, but still, you know, it kind of gets that mindset where I can kind of just roll with the punches a little bit more.
I think for me, it's changed me in quite a few unexpected ways. For one thing, apparently I'm now a nerd. Like, I was not, like, I don't think anybody who knew me in high school would have called me a nerd. I wasn't nerd in the sense that we used the word back in the 80s, you know. And yeah, I really nerd out on some stuff now.
You're the biggest nerd I know.
Oh.
You're the biggest nerd I know right now.
It's funny, right? Like, I'm super immersed in it, and actually I was talking to Mary about this like just last night. Part of it for me is just there's so much community and so much like things like we're doing right now, RPG a day, like to encourage the conversation to keep going, and you know, Facebook groups and things like that are part of it. But I think too, because of this, I mean, I don't know if I would have really learned how to use YouTube or Roll20 or things like Doodle.
It opens you up to a lot of different worlds. Yeah,
it's opened me up so much more, like even with tech and stuff. I'm certainly not a computer nerd. And it's really, you know, in that respect. And then it's made me more like into my calendar. Like, I really, you guys hear this all the time. I'm always like, it's on my calendar, so it must be. Because, you know, I'm a little older than the rest of these people, and I forget things really easy these days. So like, I use my calendar all the time at work. So that's
Nate
carried over.
Everything.
What?
This one forgets everything.
Right? I literally calendar like everything, because otherwise I can't play the games that I want to play and find time to do what I want to do.
Maybe, and that's the thing you should do. Maybe, like, I don't know, have you made a video of talking about what's the best way to organize yourself so you're prepared for, like, you know, games, and like preparing yourself, and, you know, different ideas in order to organize yourself.
Hey, a new RPG day question. How do you prepare yourself?
Right?
Ideas.
Yeah, that might actually be a good one to do. So I think it's changed me in those ways. And then in other areas, like I'm starting now, like I've always been, anybody who's played with me knows that all my characters have been very goody two-shoe characters, just like I am. Like I am not, never been the party girl. I've never been the, you know, the wild one, maybe in DI for a little while. But I've always been pretty, you know, and I'm finally starting to like explore other types of characters. Star Wars in particular has like pushed me to play other races, and you know, and now like I just created a character who's like so far out of who I am. It's amazing. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so it's, you know, it's changed me in those kind of ways. And the other thing that really strikes me is it's ruined video games for me. I rarely enjoy video games anymore. And I wasn't a huge video gamer before, as Nate knows. Like I had my little niche of games that I liked.
Lara Croft, oh my gosh.
Lara Croft.
He
And
told me how he used to play that all the time.
I really love Red Dead Redemption, and I
Still a great game.
Yeah, it's an awesome game. It's one I would play if things were hooked up, but you know, in Diablo. But I'm finding now it's no longer satisfying to sit down and just push a bunch of buttons and just kill more and more monsters. The murder hobo thing just doesn't appeal to me. I would play and enjoy it maybe with some friends who are at like the same level.
Maybe you're a sim girl. Maybe you just enjoy creating characters and
I enjoy, yeah, kind of more realistic. I miss that when I'm playing a video game. I miss that character development, and even
I could do that for hours.
even in the RPGs themselves. Like I started out like when I first started getting into the online games and trying out 5th edition for the first time and stuff. I was perfectly happy to play one-shots and stuff, but now I am
more immersed
over one-shots, but like I love to get into, I want to see that character grow and, you know, increase their skills and just, yeah,
because you feel like it feels like you're growing along with your character, you know. You feel like you're learning more things about yourself and your character, and it's fun.
So true.
You get to be 2 people at once. No. I'm used to that. No.
So true.
Wow. All right.
How's it feel like?
How wildest character name?
There's no how on that one. It's just
wildest character name, and then wildest character concept. So I feel like both of those we can kind of hit at the same time because hopefully a lot of them tie into each other.
I don't know if like wildest character name.
Wait, how is what?
No, how. It's just wildest character name and wildest character concept.
Oh.
The weirdest. What is your weirdest character you've ever had?
Whiffle Nut.
There you go.
Whiffle Nut.
Whiffle Nut. That's a weird name, but I feel like Hina's weirder.
Oh yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. Whiffle Nut's kind of weird. Yeah,
he is a little weird, isn't he? It's been a while since I played him, but he rides a llama a lot, and he plays a little. I think was his instrument a flute, or what? What did I choose for that one? It's been a while since I played him, but he was a little weird. Yeah, he was a little weird, but yeah, it was.
I like him. He's really cool.
It was fun playing.
More of Whiffle Nut, like big time. Want to see more of Whiffle Nut.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll bring him in at some point. This being our main game or.
I don't play a lot, so I don't think I could really throw in a wildest character idea. I mean,
so there are some alternate questions if you want to like.
He can't say maybe like a character he's thrown in for us to meet. An NPC.
Yeah. What about an NPC or
crazy NPC?
Aren't you guys any really weird ones, like outlandish?
I can't.
Old guy.
So I feel like I haven't played any wild characters, and I don't really feel like I have any that have any crazy names yet. I do have one character that I have not got to play yet, but I
play him.
Not really, not enough to like. Yeah.
I think my wildest character name is Hey You.
Hey, you.
That's one of my favorites.
she's I'd say she's up there in one of my like wild, weirder.
And she's wild in the literal sense as well as the
like,
unusual sense.
Yes, Hey You is her human given name. Like she was raised by wolf. She identifies as a wolf, and so she was in the human population. When she can speak Druidic just fine, perfectly fine. When not, but with people who speak common other languages, like she had no idea what they're talking about. But an often reference would be like, hey, you, come here, you, come. And so Hey You just kind of stuck and where, and after making that character, hearing Hey You has never been the same. Just like, Hey You. Like Steven my husband will call my name like, or be like, hey Mary, or Hey You. And it's like, ah!
Yeah, we need Joey here to say his weirdest.
Oh yeah, he has some really weird ones.
Oh, doesn't he have like Honeybeard or Honeybeard?
Yeah, Honeybeard is fun.
Too.
Honeybeard.
He had a more wilder one. What was his name? Do you remember? I can't remember it.
I can't remember. I had a really fun NPC that we played. It was in a different game, but it was a goblin that was a druid. But instead of switching into animals most of the time, what he would do is he would switch into a human so he can blend in with the local groups and local surrounding things and to be a trader. But it was like a really fun little game because he would always just like disappear in the most random times because he didn't want people to know he was a goblin because they would kill him on sight where he was at. And so he's like this kind of crazy salesman with like this really weird accent. No one could put their finger on it, and no one really figured out he was a goblin until we had a ranger follow him.
Oh, cool. That's pretty cool.
I think name-wise, like, the wildest character name I had isn't really all that wild, but it's Jinx. And it's not even her name, it's her nickname. Like, she's an Aarakocra, and their names are supposed to be really, different. And I couldn't wrap my head around how to begin to create an Aarakocra name, so I just decided I'd give her a nickname. And the idea is that she's a bounty hunter and she was bad luck. And so all of her quarry started referring to her as, oh, she's a jinx. Mm-hmm. And she didn't realize that was a bad thing, and so she adopted it as her name.
That's cool.
She goes by Jinx. So
we were...
Yeah.
If we were going for craziest spelling, then Eowyn would be the front runner right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think I know another one too.
If anyone seriously watching this and want to write in the comments like, this is how I think Eowyn is spelled, I'd love to see your interpretations. I really would.
Spell Eowyn for us.
It's a tough one.
I know I butchered it.
Yeah.
Her name, I'll give you a hint. Her name has been shortened to E for most parts when people are referring to her.
Nice.
So the first letter to work with, but Eowyn.
It's tough because if you think about it and you look at the spelling, then the pronunciation kind of starts to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like really obvious, so then it also makes it hard to remember how to pronounce it because. Yep. So I kind of try to.
I'm not upset with people when they don't spell it right. It's like, no, I am using the rule system and whatnot according to the language I've set for my world, and so it's like it makes sense to me because I have been developing this for 10 years, and so it's like.
And by the way, Hey You has an interesting spelling too.
That is true.
Yeah, it's not just Hey You.
True, but,
and so did Amaya.
And Maya, Araya, Azraya.
Even her husband's name.
Gaia is technically, instead of an I, it's supposed to be a J. I have a character named Asamish. That's another good luck.
Asamish.
I kind of always so I don't have a lot of wild names because I actually purposely try to make names that are easy because I mean, it's one thing if the rest of the party gives you a nickname that's like an affectionate nickname, but to force us, I want everybody to be able to remember it. so that we can be immersed and then be, have it be not too difficult. So I like to either pick something that can easily be shortened or pick something that's short to begin with. And I've become kind of known with one of the groups I play in for only having first names. Because in the Star Wars game, I play a pre-gen, like people I'm sure have heard this by now, but I play a character who was originally a pre-gen in one of the box sets. And she only came with a first name, and I was like, I have no idea what her last name should be. I don't know anything about Star Wars or, so I just decided, no, she's just going to be Sasha, and I stuck with it. And since then, like most of my characters, I only recently just finally gave a character a last name. So I just kind of always go with single names. So in fact, I just did a new character for an actual 5th edition D&D game that also only has a single name.
OG and Hema basically is prince and princess. So.
Yeah, and we don't have a last name for you, do we?
Yeah, I don't think Hema knows her last name.
I am all about like full names.
You remember Thud, Emily?
I think my biggest one would be
what?
She has 3 sets of names in, and then Olivia, Ivy, and Caspian is my other like big names.
Caspian.
I think actually, if you go back to that first question from day 6, actually the first question from week 2 about players making the world seem real, names definitely make things seem real. So even if you're not sharing your whole name, it does make sense to have a full name.
Yes.
And so like this character that I just created, I've left it up to the DM. I'm going to let him give her a real name. Or an actual first and last name, and the name I'm using is the name that it's like she's a bard, and it's going to be her stage name.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think it goes to that. So, did we have wildest character concepts? Kind of tough.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of both tie into each other.
Well,
that one's tough. I really haven't.
We came up with the wildest names just now, and the wildest voices.
Yeah.
Wild, but that's more literal. But I think Gaia, for me, Gaia Ablerine is probably my wildest character in the sense that like she is this satyr, and she was struck by lightning, and she now is in this complete delusion that she is the champion of Palor, because obviously Palor is all about lightning, and she believes she's a paladin, but she's really a druid, and she has a ridiculous accent. So
that's like so good.
Hema called a king a peasant, so
Yes.
She just doesn't know her place.
She was pretty wild in and of herself.
She's a wild card, actually.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll just shoot arrows when I don't like the situations that are happening. I need to learn to
shooting a gun.
There is a alternate question that is Cher playing a temporary character. So since I don't have like a wild character, I thought I might share about that. And it's funny how many of my things tonight are Star Wars, which is funny because this group plays D&D. As a squad, we play D&D, or so far that's been our game. Mm-hmm. But with the Star Wars game, we've done a lot of little snapshots and prologues and stuff. And so in one of those, I played a temporary character that was on a mission with one of the main characters in our game. And his name is Hemi, which is funny because in our game we have Hema and then Hemi. And it's all the same letters, they're just in different orders. And so, it was interesting playing it because she was the pilot, and she was kind of she was a very soldiery kind of character, and she went in and she really helped, make the mission successful. But most of the rest of the party died, and it was a foregone. We knew that because we were going back in time to his history where he was with a squadron, and we knew what the outcome was supposed to be. So it was interesting because at the end, it would have made sense if she had been my character Sasha instead of this other character, and if we had been the characters who survived this thing together, then it would have explained why we're together now. But we already knew that my character had to die, and it was already, we'd already created a different character for it. So, yeah, so that was a really interesting thing to be in a situation where how it's supposed to end. It's like going back to the beginning of a book and making all the story happen, but you hadn't read it yet, so you didn't know how it was supposed to go. You just knew how it was supposed to end, and so
that sucks.
So that'll be mine for the alternate question.
I think that since I don't really play that much, I don't think I really had anybody else too crazy.
Work on that.
Yeah, I think they didn't have anybody too crazy. Well, I guess actually he's kind of weird. I'm trying to think. Like, I'd probably say I'm surprised to bring up one of the weirdest NPC I had. It's actually my last game with Emily and the home game, and he was a giant named Thud, which basically had the emotional intelligence of a 5-year-old throwing a temper tantrum all the time, and with the hunger of like a 13-year-old. And so he kind of just followed the group around because they kind of just bargained him with food.
Brother.
Yeah, basically. So he just went around. It's so much fun trying to like voice act.
Wait, didn't you have a weird character, Nate? I thought you did. The one with Joey playing that weird guy. Or were you like a sophisticated guy?
No, he's not really weird. He's a demon hunter that took the more religious side than like the cult side.
Yeah.
So was it for one of Kenzie's games?
Well, no, because she was a wizard, and she really wasn't all that weird either. She was basically somebody that was really obsessed with trying to see different types of magical creatures and how to destroy them, and wrote books about them. So
well,
she
the
really
question
wasn't
is wildest, not necessarily
wildest.
weirdest.
Oh, okay.
So we're really, first of all, I'd like to thank Mary and Emily for joining us tonight. It's really fun to have more of the squad here to answer these questions and get, I think, more player perspective. And a lot of these questions are very, a lot of the content that I've seen in previous years has been very GM. So, and honestly, a lot of the questions are kind of geared that way, but I love that we're able to do this so that we can bring in that player perspective. So
it is time for the characters to take over.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Characters rule the world. So anyway, so thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And if you visited the channel before, thanks for returning. If you're new, we hope you enjoyed this and that you'll hit that subscribe button. So you
thumbs up
of our videos. And yes, thumbs up, please, if you liked it. And yeah, until next time,
get out there
and get gaming.
Stay weird.